Hey guys, I am discussing glycemic index today, what it is, how to use it, and whether or not you even need to be concerned about using it. So we're also going to talk a little bit about, or I'm going to continue my crusade here in the defense of fruit. And I think misunderstanding or misuse of the glycemic index is one of the reasons that sometimes we're a little hesitant to add a bunch of fruit into our diet for fear of an increase in sugar. But let's start with some definitions. Glycemic index is a system that was created for diabetics to more easily identify foods that are likely to increase the sugar in their blood. So if you're diabetic, what you don't have is a functioning system that releases insulin. Insulin goes into our bloodstream, it grabs the sugar, pulls it out, and it takes it somewhere to store, it takes it somewhere to be used. If you are diabetic, you don't have insulin doing that in your body. So the sugar stays in the bloodstream, and this is incredibly dangerous. It can lead to all kinds of issues like damaging your organs, blood vessels, nerves, a lot of things we don't want to mess around with. So it makes the glycemic index a really handy tool for diabetics to have or to be aware of when they're making decisions. Now, if you're not diabetic, what that means is that you have a fully functioning system that is designed to lower your blood sugar. So being worried about these high glycemic index foods is, for lack of a better phrase, kind of a waste of your time. Because again, you have the insulin that will go out, pull the sugar out of your blood and store it or take it somewhere to be used. So glycemic index also tends to identify some foods that are a little higher in sugar, which for some leads to a bit of the concern, right? But the question is that if sugar is increasing your daily intake to an amount that is dangerous, what's the other stuff that you're eating? Because it's not coming all from fruit. Nobody is eating that much fruit in a day, or very few people are eating that much fruit in a day. So the problem is likely not the fruit. It's the donuts, the pastries, it's the ice cream, it's the crackers, it's peanut butter, things that have sugar in it that you don't really think about. But if you are not diabetic, you don't need to be concerned about these higher sugar fruits if you're not filling your diet with a bunch of other high sugar processed foods. So the idea of blood sugar, I think, scares people a little bit. We hear these insulin spikes or blood sugar spikes, and it makes us a little bit afraid. But it's almost identical to your heart rate increasing. So I know many of you wear watches, Fitbits, whatever, and it tracks your heart rate during workouts. And what you see is this big spike when we start to work really hard. That's not a bad thing, right? Doesn't mean you're unhealthy because you got a spike in your heart rate. It means your body is demanding more, so your heart has to deliver, right? Now, that would be really dangerous if your heart rate is still super elevated 3 hours after the workout while you're at home sitting on the couch. Same idea with blood sugar. So in a diabetic, the blood sugar goes up and it does not have the ability to come back down. If you're not diabetic, your blood sugar goes up when you eat a meal and then it comes right back down because you have a functioning system that is able to handle that challenge. So big takeaways here. If you're not diabetic, you haven't been told by your doctor to be careful because maybe you're entering a pre-diabetic stage. Glycemic index is not something you need to waste a lot of time with. What you need to focus more on is just filling your diet with more real foods. Things that came off of trees, bushes, or got pulled out of the ground are always going to be great options for you. So don't let glycemic index or a higher sugar content in fruits deter you from adding these incredibly healthy and useful foods to your diet.